Well, 4 weeks ago, he ticked something off his bucket list, and in the past few days, he's announced his retirement from football. We're joined by Phil Zabaks, the Lions FC goalkeeper. Thanks for joining us, Phil.
Thank you.
Now, I think you indicated after the grand final that you would be going on for another year, but have you had a bit of a rethink since the grand final?
Oh, look, I think I have. It's a dream of players to win a grand final or to do a double premiership grand final. To do it in the way that we've done it, a number of successful seasons with Lions. I looked at what was ahead for the club. Moving forward, I felt it was best that I finish on top and, put my hand up and know when the right time to retire and move on was, and to give the younger generation coming through their opportunity to go and experience what I've experienced. Lions
have won 3 of the last 4 premierships. The grand final was a bit of a bogey. What was the sense of relief in that 4-0 victory over Mitchelton on grand final day?
Relief's probably the word. We all know grand finals, it's a day where anything can happen. People love the David and Goliath tussle of a grand final, and it was very much that again. We were tipped to win it. We prepared well, as we always did. I took it as another game, as we always do. But the team talk we had in the change room, I could see the energy in the boys, and even before we walked onto the pitch, I knew we had this won if we stuck to our game plan.
Despite the success, there has been a bit of turnover in the Lions squad, but that camaraderie seems to be there year after year after year. Can you give us a bit of an insight into what the club is like and the feeling around the club, because it seems to be a very well supported atmosphere?
Look, it comes back to the people that run it. It's the passion, desire of any football club, not just Lions. You'd know that once the Raw jumped into the A-League from there, that they had to rebuild, and it's that desire to get back to a level where they're recognition and they're winning trophies again. There has been a big turnover of staff or players in the change room. For 2 reasons. People move on, their lives change and they need to move, and that's just normal. But recruitment of finding players that share the same desire and passion as myself, that they want to, everyone loves winning. Let's not kid ourselves. We love to win things, we love to win trophies, and to find a group of guys that want to do that and share the same mental and physical determination, I think that's what's brought us together and why we keep winning trophies or won trophies with such a different squad year on year.
That's the recent past, but how did you first get into football? What were your first experiences?
I think I got into football because I was actually I wasn't talented by any means. I was a really skinny kid. I had bow knees. I couldn't run. Mum got me into swimming originally to get my my lungs working, my muscle working, but I think I got put into it because it was just something to do on the weekend down in Sydney, in the Shire. Everyone just played soccer or football for a living, and that's how I got into it. Started at a very, very low, very non-talented team, but that was me. I just enjoyed running around the park and trying to kick a ball.
And goalkeeping, when did you first take up the gloves?
Goalkeeping, from memory, I showed interest in it from probably about 12 years of age. I first got into it because you played back then. You could play soccer in the street or football in the street, and I just used to want to go in goals because I like to dive around and hurt myself. I thought it was pretty cool to get scars and grazes and injuries. I thought injuries were like the best thing in the world back then, which doesn't sound normal saying it out loud, but yeah, that's how I got into it.
You've already said that growing up you probably weren't the best player or anything like that, but there must have been a trigger point at some point of time. You said in the past that you haven't played any rep teams as a junior. Was there a particular point when something triggered that made you one of the better keepers that we've seen in Queensland in recent years?
It's the hard work and determination and the support from family and friends that, people talk about overnight success. This isn't overnight success for me. This is 28 years of playing football. I've played 14 plus years as a top level, and I've always moved forward with my football career. I've never taken a backwards step. I've played at club level, and I worked my way through the ranks. And yeah, I wasn't a state representative. I haven't represented my country at an Olyroos or Socceroos level, but that determination to keep wanting to better myself, to align myself with the right coach, the right people, to do the work that I needed to do outside of my training regime to get to where I wanted to be. That was the difference. So when people were going out on Saturday night or Friday night, I was training 8 times a week. I had a goalkeeper coach outside my football coaches. I looked at my diet. I did a gym session by myself. I'd have a aerobic coach. So I see the fruits of my success, but no one sees the hard work that I put in to get there. As for a tipping point, I think I knew I could do it when I got my first ever representative spot, and it was age 15. It was for a club called Hajduk, back in Division 2 in Sydney. I think they're now gone. It was a feeder club to Sydney United. But that's when I knew that this could potentially be a fun career, or something that I would have a passion for. And it just, again, that support from everyone fueled that ambition and desire to go and make something of myself or be someone.
Australia has produced some great goalkeeping stocks over the years. We see plenty of players, Matt Ryan is an example, playing overseas. What do you think the outlook is for goalkeepers in Australia, and how do you think the system is currently performing?
It's the system as a whole. I think there's a lot more people playing football, and I think the stats will show that. I think that the players get to the top level, there's less now, and I think that's just the world we live. There's a lot of distractions with media, iPhones, tablets. A lot of people get distracted in the digital world or disconnect from real life. And I think that's just the battle that we're going to experience moving forward with football in Australia. There's some phenomenal talent there, but people get distracted around that early teenage years for whatever reason. If we keep them on track, I believe that we'll get back to those glory days. There's a lot of household names back in the day with football. There's still household names today. There's not as many, but the people that want it, they'll go and chase it. So yeah, you said the likes of Matty Ryan. We played against each other in Sydney. A neighbour of mine who's now over at Tottenham, Tom Glover, me and him are good mates. So there's some definite talent out there. It comes down to the individual and how much they want it, and they need to block those other distractions outside football if they want to succeed.
You've had some well-documented setbacks, of course, a major injury when you were playing in the New South Wales Premier League for Bonnyrigg White Eagles. And I believe even then when you came back from injury, you had another setback. How did you deal with those setbacks to keep you still on that path towards being a top keeper?
Yeah, look, I still get, I've got tingles now just thinking about it. The way I approached my football career was that God has given me this fantastic talent, and whatever happened along the way was part of his plan. If it was his plan for me to be a successful international player, I would have been. And it wasn't, and I accept that. So every session or every game, you'll see me sit down on my goal line and I'll shoot up a quick prayer to him, something along the lines of, I thank you for this talent you've given me. Let me know when it's time for me to hand it over. And that's been my philosophy in life, outside of football as well. So those setbacks were there it was part of his plan. So I was safe, I was protected, but it didn't mean that I was going to get back to where I needed to be unless I put in the hard work. And I think he showed me that. He said, if I want to be successful again, get through the adversity and what I've been through, that the hard work came down to me as the individual. So I drew strength from that. The football community was amazing during those injuries. My wife, my family, my father-in-law, my brothers. Without them, it's easy to say I probably wouldn't be here in Queensland right now playing football. The most successful parts of my career have been post my injury, which is, again, it's something where I will not let someone else tell me what I can do with my life or how good I can be. That's up to me as an individual, and that's just my philosophy in life in general. So when the injury came, I said, you know what, this is a chance for me to show people, no matter what their circumstances are in life or their history or their past, if they want to do something, they can do it. They've just got to put in the hard work.
You touched on it there. One of the other inseparables there has been your wife, Brooke, who's been there every step of the way. How much of a support has she been in your career?
Look, she's been amazing. 3 weeks after we got married, we had the accident. Woke up in the middle of the night when I shouldn't have. The doctor said that. So the original doctor sent me home from hospital, said there was nothing wrong with me, and I felt fine. Admittedly, I felt fine. So we went home, woke up in the middle of the night, went downstairs to get a drink, came back upstairs, and my arm was limp and I knew something was wrong. So I woke Brooke up and I said, we need to get to hospital now. And she didn't know what was going on. I said, we just need to go. All I did was essentially walk into the emergency room and I collapsed. I passed out and I woke up a day later with the surgery complete. So I had the easy job. And that sounds funny, but I had the easy job. She had the hard job of getting me there, communicating with my mum, my dad, father-in-law, my brothers. She's been a rock, along with my mum and dad, my brothers, my family. The football community, there's a healthy respect there that, I love it that people sharing the success, even if they're a direct competitor, because competition is what makes this country great. We're underdogs, we're fierce competitors, we love it. But going back to that support, without that, again, I don't think I would be where I am today or the person I am, because she's the one that said, I want you to follow your dreams. So there was never that case of, I don't want you to play again. She said, if you want to play again, I'll support it. If you don't want to play again, I'll support it. But you need to do what you want to do and makes you happy.
Outside of football, I know sometimes it doesn't think as though we do have lives outside football, but you've got a successful real estate career, and I think you're also now starting to get into a bit of motivational speaking. What's sort of been the drive to get into motivational speaking?
It sort of started when I look back on the football career, or the last couple of years. I've looked at where I've been, what I've achieved, and it's about getting to a stage in your life when you look back with what you've done, you don't have any regrets. And this is a perfect example. I've got no regrets about my football career. It's taken me around the world. A lot of lessons I've learned. I've learned to deal with how to win, how to lose, what's involved there. So the motivational speaking part of things is just to make sure that everyone knows they've got the ability to do what they want to do. And a lot of the time that just comes down to self-belief. So if I can unlock that power and potential of someone else inside them, look, fantastic. They can go and conquer the world. They can move mountains. As for life outside of football, love real estate. It's again another competitive area where the hard work will pay off if you do the hard hours and the long hours. So that's something that now I'll focus a lot of my time and attention on, again, to build another legacy. And that's what it's about. Whatever I want to do, I want to make sure that when someone hears my name, that it comes with a positive connotation.
Now, it's no coincidence today that you've turned up in your pink polo shirt. Can you explain the pink, the 99?
Yeah, so the 99 came about before the pink. So again, back in the day, was playing for Sutherland. It was my first year at Premier League. I came back to sign the year after. Sutherland had brought in a couple of coaches that had won numerous titles down there, one of which was my father-in-law, who obviously I didn't know at the time. Came back in to sign my contract, and they said they'd signed another keeper. And I said, wow, that's interesting. I said, look, I'll sign, I'll fight for my spot. That's what I do. And they said, great, I'll take number one again. And they said, no, number one's been promised to this other keeper. And I said, I was furious. And I said, all right, you know what, give me number 99. And they said, why do you want 99? I said, because it's as far away as one as I can get. So if I'm going to create something on my own, I want to have my own number. That's where the 99 started. Pink was because I just thought one day, you know what, if someone can step on the field into the pink jersey and hold their own, you've already won half the battle. The battle's perception. And you see it with, the likes of great players and great coaches and great teams. It's the perception before you step on the park. So if I can sit there in pink and someone has a go at me for it and I say, yeah, great, run at me, let's see what happens.
You've touched on them, but what are the moments that will stand out in your career highlights?
Career highlight, winning my first Premier League title with Sutherland back in New South Wales. That highlight came down to the last game of the day. We needed to get a point from it. Tynan, who was a teammate this year, was actually on the other side of the park for that day. And to win my first title when we were written off throughout the year, weren't expected to finish anywhere near the top. That was amazing. Just to be, again, the underdog. Another memory, there's so many. In 2004, I was an All-American in America. That was a huge accomplishment for, you're talking 400,000 or 500,000 people in a college system. So to be recognised as top of your game there, that was great. Look, getting married, that's a part of football. That's how I met Brooke. Other accolades and achievements I've enjoyed. Look, doing a double this year, winning titles with Lions, or being able to play again. I think the one that stands out the most is that Croydon game with the FFA Cup. Again, I think that signifies that the hard work that I put in up until that point, it felt like I'm back to where I wanted to be. And just to take that in and that experience was amazing. After, it was such a huge sense of relief that, you know, it will more than likely be the only time I experience that. And so I've ticked that box, and I took it all in. I took it in, absolutely loved it.
Do you walk away with any regrets? Things you wish could have happened but didn't quite come off?
Oh, look, you always wish that you could play at a professional level, whether it be A-League or overseas. Knowing that would have changed my life entirely, no, I wouldn't change anything looking back. I can sit there and say to myself, I was never handed anything, never. So never through a youth system did I have a coach stick up for me. Never was I in a schoolboys team or an Australian team or a rep side, never. If anything, I was the person that was always told, you won't be successful, you're not going to be competitive, you can't achieve it because you're too slow, you're not talented enough, you don't know the right people, you're not connected politically, and unfortunately that's the world we still live in. So to sit there and say, would I change it? No, I wouldn't, because I've shown people that a nice guy off the field can be an absolute competitor and animal on the field and still play within the laws of the game.
We talked about a bit off camera, the Westfield FFA Cup. Lions came so close against Perth Glory last year. We saw Redlands knock off Adelaide United. What is the potential of that competition in terms of those lower tier clubs against A-League clubs going forward? What do you think?
I wish it was brought back in when I was starting my career. I think it's a fantastic initiative. It gives us a chance as, semi-professional footballers to play against the like of full-time professionals. It's going to identify talent that, again, might not have been explored because people haven't seen them. They've been overlooked previously. And to have that David and Goliath battle, it's amazing. You feel like you can run through a wall. The game against Perth, typical example, we loved it. We relished it. After the game, I was upset that we lost, but I wasn't disappointed because I knew we had our chances. And if you want to play football professionally, you need to take your chances, whether it's on the park or off the park. So a lot of the boys were upset and talked about it, and I said, guys, that's the difference between us and them. We had 3 or 4 great chances, we didn't score, they had 1 or 2 and they put 1 away, and I said, that's football. So you learn from it, you move on. But I think it's moving forward, it's going to be, I'm going to miss it. I wish I could play another one.
It's quite evident that football is in your blood. So this is definitely it. We're not going to see you running around in City League 5 or something next year. Or are you interested in getting into coaching?
Playing football, at this level, I don't believe it's going to... Look, I think I'll hang the boots up, I'll hang the gloves up at this level because there's a big commitment involved. Everyone would know that. If I play again, it might be park football. It might even be on the field because, goalkeepers can play on the field, can't they? But I'll still want to do some sort of exercise. So it's not off the cards, but I don't think you'll see me again at this level unless something drastic happens between now and then. As for coaching, I would love to give back. At this stage, I will more than likely take a year off and just have a rest. Playing for 28 years, it's time that I've put some time and energy back into to my wife and family. There's a lot of things happening off the park as well now that football's over, so I'll focus on that. Never say never, but my goals have been realigned to elsewhere now.
Well, Phil Zabaks, it's been a joy to watch you on the park, and I'm sure on behalf of the Football Brisbane community, we wish you well in whatever your next step in the journey of football is.
Oh, thank you very much.